In 2018, after serving his sentence and completing counseling, Dustin petitioned the court to regain custody of Hayden. Gary fought the decision. He begged the court not to send Hayden back to Dustin, but Gary wasn't allowed to speak. The judge ruled in Dustin's favor, and just like that, Hayden was back with his father. For a little while, Dustin brought Hayden around for family visits. Everything seemed fine until it wasn't. After the family's Christmas gathering in 2019, those visits stopped altogether. Family members kept reaching out to Dustin. They sent text after text asking if he and Hayden could join family dinners. Dustin always gave the same vague response. ... We're fine. Hayden's fine. We'll try to make it. But they never did. In 2019, Hayden Manis was just 4.5 years old. He was a sweet, joyful child who loved family gatherings and playing with his cousins. His family recalls how he would light up the room, especially around the holidays. But behind that happy image, Hayden's life wasn't easy. His family history was troubled, especially when it came to his parents. Hayden's father, Dustin Manis, had battled addiction for years. Both Dustin and Hayden's mother had previously lost custody of another child after testing positive for cocaine. At one point, police found Dustin and Hayden in a motel room filled with heroin. That's when Hayden's grandfather, Gary, stepped in. Gary took Hayden in, giving him what seemed to be a stable, loving home. "I never had any trouble with him the whole time I had him," Gary said. But things were about to take a tragic turn. But after that Christmas Eve in 2019, everything changed. Hayden was never seen again. Years passed. The family wondered why Dustin had become so distant. But they had no idea just how serious the situation was until September 2024. That's when they realized no one had seen Hayden in 5 years. Panic set in. They called the police, desperate for answers. When officers tracked down Dustin, they asked the obvious question, "Where's Hayden?" What Dustin told them made no sense. He claimed that the Department of Child Services had taken Hayden away and placed him back with his mother. But investigators quickly found out that wasn't true. Everything Dustin said was a lie, and the truth was far worse. Police confirmed that Hayden had never been taken back into state custody. He hadn't gone to live with his mother. The timeline was hazy at best. Hayden had been missing for years before anyone even realized it. Investigators were facing an uphill battle. Eric Hoffman, the Delaware County prosecutor, summed it up like this: "To get a call in 2024 that you haven't seen a child since 2020, that's a massive hurdle." But the investigation was about to hit an even bigger wall. In November 2024, Dustin was arrested again, this time for new drug charges. Officers found him with heroin and meth. He spent a few weeks in jail before posting bond. 4 days later, Dustin was dead from a drug overdose. Investigators hit wall after wall. Then came the most devastating blow, Dustin's death. With Dustin gone, investigators had lost the one person who might have held the key to finding Hayden. As they dug deeper, disturbing allegations began to surface. Family members heard horrifying stories, claims that Hayden had been severely abused and neglected in the months before his disappearance. The details were too graphic to repeat here. One family member shared, "I just hope it isn't true what he went through." At this point, investigators are keeping many details under wraps. But one thing is clear. The truth about what happened to Hayden is haunting. Where is Hayden? That question haunts his family every single day. Children his age don't just disappear. They don't have passports. They don't travel alone. Kids like Hayden can only go missing in a few ways, none of which are voluntary. At this point, investigators believe the worst. Based on the evidence they've seen, they do not believe Hayden is still alive, but they're not giving up. The investigation is ongoing, and they've promised to keep searching until they find the truth. Someone out there knows what happened to Hayden. If you have any information, no matter how small, please contact the Delaware County Sheriff's Investigations Unit. Even the smallest tip could be the missing piece detectives need. Hayden's case is now part of the National Registry of Missing and Exploited Children. If he's still out there, he would be almost 10 years old today. Thank you for joining me here on T-REV 757, where we continue to be a voice for the voiceless. Cases like Hayden's remind us how important it is to speak out, demand answers, and keep these stories alive. If you found this story compelling, share it. Keep Hayden's name out there. Every share, every comment, every conversation can make a difference. Stay tuned for updates on this case and others. Until next time, stay safe and keep seeking the truth.
Without me hearing his voice, I'm like, it's unconfirmed. But if you got friends that knew him and grew up with him saying it's confirmed, then I gotta say, hey, yeah, this is probably Brian Koberger.